Well, a very good morning and welcome to the auction here at number 92 Wilcox Street here in Preston. By way of introduction, my name is Dolcetta and I have the privilege of being your auctioneer here today. I'm here on behalf of the Barry Plant Inner North Group, and assisting in the crowd here today are my absolutely amazing colleagues, Jessica Lozanovski, George McCarthy, Loretta Koo, Lucas Di Bartolo. I'm sure you've had the pleasure of meeting them throughout the duration of this campaign. Should you have any questions, queries, or need any assistance at all, please feel free to seek them out. They're here to assist you here today. And we'd like to take this moment to thank the vendors for entrusting Barry Plant with the sale of this absolutely beautiful family home. They have done a wonderful job week in, week out, presenting the home for the market. We do wish them the very best of luck here today. To all the buyers, it's been fantastic meeting you all. Bid hard, bid strong, and best of luck with all your bidding here today as well. Now, the contract has been on display for the past 30 minutes prior to this auction. It does authorise Barry Plant Inner North Group to offer this property by public and online auction with the land attached and certificate title volume 04654 folio 640, with the land and improvements better known to you and I as number 92 Wilcox Street here in Preston. Being sold with the property today will be all fixed floor coverings, window furnishings, electrical light fittings, as inspected or unless otherwise mentioned in the contract of sale. Terms that we are calling for today is a 10% deposit equal to that of the purchase price, balance payable in a very flexible 60 or 90 days. Now, we are governed under Schedule 1 of the auction rules, and they are as follows. This auction will be conducted in accordance with the rules and any additional conditions that were made available for your inspection before the start of this auction. The vendors have a reserve price, and as the auctioneer, I'll indicate bidders on request. The law prohibits the auctioneer from accepting late bids or offers on a property once the property has been knocked down to the successful bidder. The law prohibits false bids, it prohibits major destruction from bidders, and it prohibits bidders from attempting to prevent others from bidding, and it does provide fines for this conduct. Should a dispute arise amongst the bidding, I'll do one of two things. I'll either resubmit the property at the undisputed bid, or I may restart the auction. I may also withdraw the property from auction at any time without disclosing the vendor's reserve price. The law does permit vendor bids, and the words that I use to indicate that I'm making a bid on behalf of the vendor bidden by law. Only I, as the auctioneer, can make a bid on behalf of the vendor. Now, in the very unlikely event that we do pass this property in here today, folks, it's very important to note that the highest bidder does reserve exclusive right to the vendor's reserve. So to put it quite simply for you, if you're here to buy, make your bids clear, make your bids known, make sure your hand's up nice and high. We hit that reserve. I'm going to give it to the count of three. First, second, third, and final call. Once the contract hits my hand, the property will be sold and we will not be taking any late bids. Now, before I put it in your hands, buyers, and we call upon some spirited bidding, it would be remiss of me not to talk about what does make 92 Wilcox Street here in Preston such a wonderful opportunity. Now, when considering real estate, folks, obviously location is paramount, and what a spot that we're standing at here in Wilcox Street in Preston. All of your amenity and lifestyle readily available from this spot. You don't even need a car. High Street, just walking distance down the road. Cafes, bars, restaurants, Preston Market, Preston train station. Plenty Road just up the other side. You've got the 86 tram, easy access back down towards Bundoora or into Northcote, of course. You're zoned to some fantastic schools here, and you've got access into all the recreational facilities and lifestyle and amenity from this spot. The home itself, quintessential Californian bungalow, does not get much better than that. That facade is absolutely to die for. It is beautifully done, turnkey, ready to go, architectural extension at the back, big rooms, bright, all your period features on display. Of course, you've got that nice rear yard there, and then you've got that multi-functional space at the back. All you need to do here today is bid, buy, settle, and move in. Now, from a market perspective, folks, something we keep hearing is that stock levels are tight. Have you got anything else? Stock's down nearly 5% from last year. Rates are now coming down, and what that means is you might need to stretch yourself that $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 to secure a home like 92 Wilcox Street here in Preston. We implore you to do it with confidence. There's not going to be another one anytime soon. With that all in mind, buyers, I'm in your hands. Who'd like to bid me away for a fair and reasonable start for 92 Wilcox Street here in Preston? Surely not. We've had this conversation with multiple buyers. If there's no, I'm going to chuck a dad joke out there.
1,200,000.
1.2, thank you, and welcome to bidding off to the left there. Up 1.2 million, and we'll go in a rise of 10 from there. Up 1.2 million off to the left. Excellent buying at that, buyers. Up 1.2 million. First call at 1,200,000. For the second call at 1,200,000. For the third and final call at 1,200,000.
Yeah.
10?
Yeah.
Thank you, and welcome in at 10, 20. What do you say? At 1,210,000, bids against them, off to the right. At
20.
20, thank you, and welcome back in at 20. 30, what do you say? At 20, at 1,220,000. Great buying at that. Land in this pocket's in excess of $1 million. Good luck building that for under $500,000. It's a great buy at 1.22. At 1,220,000 for the first call. At 1,220,000 for the second call. 30. Lock 'em in. At 30. At 30. It's raining at the moment. At 1,230,000. For the first call at 1,230,000. For the second call at 1,230,000. For the third and final call.
Yeah.
Back in.
Yeah.
Thank you. Welcome back in at 40. 50. What do you say? At 40. At 1,240,000. At 50. Thank you. Welcome back in at 50. At 1,250,000. Surely the coffee got you guys a little bit buzzed up. At 1,250,000 off to the left there. For the first call at 1,250,000. For the second call at 1,250,000. Thank you. 60 and welcome in at 60. At 1,260,000. 10 gets you back in front at 1,260,000. Bids off to the left here. What do you say? 70? Maybe not that bid. Maybe 1.3. At 1,260. For the first call at 1,260,000. For the second call at 1,260,000.
Jesse.
Yep. Thank you and welcome in. 70. At 70. 80 gets you back in front. 80. Thank you and welcome back in. At 80. Haven't forgotten about you guys. Or you. At 80. At 1,280,000. Think about the location. Think about the lifestyle. Think of what you've got on offer here. And think about the fact that there's nothing available next week. At 1,280,000. For the first call at 1,280,000.
90.
90. Thank you and welcome back in. At 90. 1.3 gets you back in front. What do you say? At 1,290,000. Last one number. 1.3. 310. 310. 20. At 1,310,000. Bids against you and you. At 1,310,000. 20 gets you back in front. What do you say? At 1,310,000. 20. 20. 30. 30. 40. Done. You sure? At 1,330,000. Bids off to the left. For the first call at 1,330,000. At the back there. 40. Thank you and welcome back in. 50. 50. At 1,350,000. At 1,350,000. Buyers, make no mistake. There's no halftime break here. We're playing for keeps.
77.
77. Like that. 77. At 1,377,000. At 80. 80. Thank you. At 80.
1.5.
1.5. 1.5 million.
No, 1.5. That's it. 1,500.
1,500. Where are we at? We're at 87.
1,500.
So at 89. At 89. Because you're really going to count my maths here. At 89. At 1,389,000. Someone round me up. 90. Thank you. At 90.
1,500.
1,500. At 91.5. At 91.5. Maybe round me up to. Where are we at? 91.5.
Your maths is good. You're doing a great job.
1.3. What about 1.4?
1,500.
1,500. 95.
1.4.
96.5.
1.4.
Thank you.
1,500.
At 1.4. At 1.4. 1.5. At 1,401,500. At 1,400,000 and 1.5.
Spot on.
Round me up. You're an auctioneer. At 1,400,000, 1.5. 5. 5. Thank you. Welcome back in. At 6.5. At 6.5. At 6.5. Straight in front. At 1,400,000, 6.5. What do you say? Playing for keeps here. At 1.4. At 1.4. 10. At 1.4. 11.5. At 11.5. At 15. Thank you. Welcome back in. At 16.5. At 1,416.5. Haven't had to trade this hard since auction trading. At 1,416.5.
I'm hiring. We're hiring.
20. What do you say?
I'd hire you
At 20. At 1,416.5. Round me up to 20.
20.
At 20.
1,500.
At 21.5. 21.5. 25.
1,500.
26.5. Jeez, I feel like I'm in primary school, guys. At 26.5. At 1,426.5. I haven't forgotten about you guys either. At 1,426.5. Play for keeps. What do you say? Round me up to 30. At 26.5. Great buying if that's still. At 1,426.5. For the first call. At 1,426.5. For the second call. At 1,426.5.
Yep. 1,500.
1,500.
1,500.
Oh, we're doing it again. 7. 8.5.
1,500.
28.5. At 28.5. What do you say? Round me up to 30. 30. At 30. At 30. 15.5.
2,000.
2,000. 32. At 32. At 1,432. 40. Thank you. And welcome back in. At 1,440. That's how you buy property. At 1,440. Strong bidding. 42. 42. 42 at the back. Play for keeps at 42 in the back. Anywhere else at all? Play for keeps here. Keys are at the back at 42.5. At 1,442.5. 42. At 42 at the back, sorry. At 42. At 1,442. For the first call at 1,442,000. For the second call at 1,442,000. 43. Welcome back in. Right at the points again. 4, 5, 6. Round me up to 50. 50. Thank you and welcome back in. 51 at the back. At 51 at the back. What do you say? 60. Nice strong bidding. At 1,451 at the back. At 1,451,000 for the first call. At 1,451,000 for the second call. 2. Welcome back in. 3. 53. 54. At 54. Maybe 60 or a nice little knockout bid. At 54 at the back. At 1,454,000 at the back. For the first call. At 1,454,000. For the second call. At 1 million. One more. At the 5. At 1,455. 56. At 56 at the back.
60.
At 60. Thank you and welcome back in. 61. At 61. At 1,461,000. Straight at the back. What do you say? Another 5? 65? 65. Thank you and welcome back in. 66. At 66. 70. At 66. Bids against you at the back. At 66. At 1,466,000. Are we talking about you? Have another one?
70.
70. Thank you and welcome back in. At 70. At 1,470,000. 71 at the back. At 71. 2 at the moment. At 1,471,000. Play for keeps here.
75.
75. Strong bidding. 76. 80. At 76 at the back. 80. 80. Thank you and welcome back in. 81. At 81. Maybe knockout bid. We're getting close to that 1.5 bracket. That might just do it. At 1,481,000. Bids at the back.
85.
85. 86. At 86. At 1,486,000. 90. Got to get on the phone. Do what you need to do. At 1,486,000. Just remember what's on offer here. Turnkey property. Don't have to touch a single thing. Ready to move in. Lifestyle location. It is a perfect home. And there's not going to be another one anytime soon. At 1,486,000. Selling away at the back if there's no better bid. At 1,486,000 for the first call. At 1,486,000 for the second call.
90.
90. Thank you and welcome back in. 91. At 91. Back at it. Maybe that nice round number. At 491. At 1,491,000 for the first call. At 1,491,000 for the second call. At 1,491,000.
15.
15. Welcome back in. 501. At 1501 at the back there. At 1,501,000. 48 here. Show your strength. At 1,501,000 for the first call. At 1,501,000 for the second call. At 1,501,000.
And 5.
5. 505. 506. 10. At 506. Haven't forgotten about you guys. At 1,506,000. Right at the pointy end here. Got nowhere else to be. Happy to be here all day if we need to. At 1,506,000. For the first call at 1,506,000. For the second call at 1,506,000. For the third and final call at 1,506,000. 1, 7, 8, 9. Do the 1 1. At 1,508 at the back. 1. We'll round me up to the 10. At 1,508. For the first call at 1,508,000. For the second call at 1,508,000. For the third and final call at 1,508. Need to know you're definitely done. You sure? Got another 3 count for you. Anywhere else at all? Just a reminder, no late bids. We are selling away if there's no better bid. At 1,508,000. For the first, second, third and final call. We're all done. We're all silent. Definitely out. Definitely out. Definitely out. Thank you very much. We are selling. We are selling. Round of applause for the new owners of 92 Wilcox Street. We are sold. Congratulations. Commiserations to our individuals on behalf of the team at Bailey Club. Have a fantastic weekend. Congratulations. I knew it was on behalf of someone.
Yeah.
I like it.
Thank you.
I was like, who are you?
Yeah.
Come on.